Give her the old clapper.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good one. Welcome back to another episode of The Barrow. I'm going to start this one by reading from the Memoir-in-Progress. Now, on tomorrow's Memoir-in-Progress reading episode, which you can get at thebarrowpod.substack.com for subscribers only, $8 a month, or if you're in the mood for an annual subscription, $80. That's 2 months free. Go there. Be there or be square. You'll get more of this. You'll get the full chapter tomorrow. But we're starting with this. Thursday, October 10, 1991. Now,
I remember it in living detail.
take Tobe to playgroup. It'll take your mind off it, my husband tells me. You think so, I say? There is no point not going, he tells me. He's right, of course. There's no point not attending playgroup this morning. Sitting around the house all day will only make me more anxious. Tomorrow, I'm to appear in court at the request of the education department. A child was injured at a previous school where I'd been teaching 7 years ago, and I'd been on yard duty when the incident occurred. Now the family are suing. The education department has requested I appear as a witness, though I'm hardly involved in the matter. Still, it worries me. I don't know what I can remember from that day, and if what I can remember will be of any use. I don't want to get something wrong for anyone. I farewell my husband as usual, kissing him goodbye, before putting Tobe in the car and drive to the town hall, where playgroup is held in an annex of the building. My husband is not in a rush this morning either. He has a half-day stop-work meeting. As usual, my parents are making a fuss. They had planned to go away for the weekend, but now they want to stay home to support me. My husband has assured my father that he will be taking time... It's better if you don't laugh. My husband has assured my father that he will be taking time off work to see me through the court case, reassuring them they can go away as planned. All under control, he told my father yesterday. At playgroup, I chat with the other mums and watch Tobe play with building blocks. It's 3 weeks until his 3rd birthday. He is a happy child, content. He is not clingy. He charges out into the centre to play with the other children. After playgroup, I feel good, relaxed and refreshed. I strap Tobe back into the car and we drive home. When I pull into the garage, I notice that resting beside the door into the backyard, there's an envelope. I leave Tobe in his car seat and pick up the letter, thinking that it's maybe a change of plan about the day ahead. But before I can ascertain the contents, my husband pulls up in the back street outside the open roller door. A change of plan after all, I think. He's come home to have lunch with us and calm my nerves about my appearance in court. This makes me happy. Smiling, I begin opening the envelope, wanting to see the card he has left for me for a surprise. But he stops me. I think I better explain, he says. I'm leaving. And the plot thickens. Hey, the plot thickens. The plot...
His plot.
Of, well, your plot, my plot, the plot. So, well, let's unpick the past.
Yeah.
Well, so I made some notes here. I said, do you want to take us through the day? And then I thought we could go through that day quickly and then get into sort of the initial aftermath, maybe. Just briefly. We don't have to make a big deal out of all of this. And I don't want to sort of like prolong ill feelings, but...
Yeah, so, I mean, it was good for me to go off to playgroup because I was, as I wrote, anxious about what was coming because I didn't really remember the incident and all of that.
Sure.
And I think at some stage I had a meeting with the representatives for the education department. which had sort of clarified what I meant to do. So yeah, I was all over the place. I'd been on family leave for all these years. This was, a long time ago. So I was in the moment with you at playgroup, and yeah, I'm that note, the long envelope was prominent as I parked, and yeah, what was in it, and then he sort of turned up. So I'm reading it at the same time as. That's when my memory gets a little bit hazy.
It's not too hazy. Like we have, as I say, I'll read through the full thing on tomorrow's reading episode. But your memory wasn't that hazy. But
yeah, I'm going on with detail here.
Yeah, that's okay.
The main thing was this enormous shock. What are you talking about?
Yep.
What are you talking about?
Yep.
And I've got you out of the car. I've got this little boy, and I remember we're going inside, and I remember tears, and I remember you being upset, and I'm trying to comfort you, and he's in his monologue about what he's doing, and I'm standing there with you on my hip. He doesn't attempt to take you. He doesn't.
No.
He's not. You're by the by.
Oh yeah.
Which
that really plays out.
That really plays out
later. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm overcome and overwhelmed. That doesn't last for very long. And he leaves, and I'm left with this letter, with you, with this dread, with this confusion, and confusion too, if he'd taken the time to write the letter and set it all up that I was going to come home to this letter. To this day, I actually don't know why he came back.
Yeah,
to speak.
That's always been a point. Yeah.
I do not understand that, because I'm, when I recover a little bit, I'm sitting there reading this mechanically composed letter.
Yeah.
You've made your escape. Why have you come back?
Yeah, it's very strange.
And of course, then it turns into this huge cliche, because I suddenly look around the house. I go to the wardrobes, and I think I described the swinging
They're still
hangers.
swinging, yeah.
I mean, what a cliche. How many times in a movie have you seen that? When the man or the woman goes to the wardrobe door. And then I start to sort of walk through, and there's a painting gone here and something else gone there, and what?
Yeah, it's
yeah. And then of course my father turns up, because he was his lunchtime. He was in an office by then, and he come to see how I was going with the prep for the thing. And he's just in shock, as I explain. And he said, I need to go home to your mother and tell her. And yeah, so from that moment was this sheer feeling of sickness in the pit of my stomach, which I worked out that I've lived with most of my life. And then quickly a scramble to try and make sense of it all. And gee, how could I get in touch with him to, let's work this out. What so yeah, you've got all these things happening at the same time, and maybe I'm not delivering that very well at the moment, but can you imagine that in that moment your whole life is gone?
Yeah, and people describe that. Like, I mean, people describe just being sort of like shell-shocked and overwhelmed and stuff, because it's like it's such a dramatic change, one that you have not made yourself, and you haven't really been part of the negotiation process. It's happened to you.
That's exactly right. It comes out of nowhere, and yes, if I can then we can go on talking about the myths of how people separate.
Yeah.
I've read about this and felt this. One person makes a decision, and they make it long before any action is taken, usually.
Yeah.
So they are completely okay with it. So you are left so far behind, so you're in shock at what are you on about? This has come out of nowhere, and also scrambling quickly. Oh, well, I'm going to turn this around. This is not right.
Yeah.
But you are so far behind
where they are.
The other person.
Yeah, it's new to you and it's actually old to them.
Yeah, because in that moment, that is the final act of their thought process.
Yes. Yeah, it's the culmination of what they've been thinking for some time.
Yeah.
Whereas it's the first encounter that you have with it. So for them, it's the end point. For you, it's the beginning.
Yeah, and then you embark on this process of trying to look back and making sense, and at the same time thinking or willing that it will turn around. We'll just have a sensible conversation and we'll work this out.
Yeah.
So you're scrambling on all levels, as well as trying to keep some kind of sense of normality. You've got a little boy who then very quickly in the aftermath, where's Dada? And really, I didn't know. That was the other part.
Well, that's what I was going to get to.
I did not know where he went to, how I could contact him.
Yeah.
It left me in that sort of initial aftermath doing some, I suppose I can look back now and say they were crazy things, but you are crazed trying to get to the bottom of it and turn it around.
Certainly, yeah. Yeah, no, it's interesting, like it relates to, because we spoke about Karl Ove Knausgaard last week, and we were talking about his My Struggle series, but we were also talking within that about time and truth, and how relative those things are to one another, where when you have enough distance you can look back and sum things up with a sentence, but at the time that thing, there's a kernel of that within the moment, like that later crystallized truth is there with you.
Yes.
But it's just not as omnipresent as it is once you're looking back with retrospect, with hindsight. So like it's interesting because it's like you have two people operating at not necessarily different speeds, but as you say, like are at different points along the same trajectory. Like for him, it's an end point. For you, it's the beginning of thinking about what was happening in that marriage. But I suppose the other thing to it too is like, no, I think I've lost my train of thought there a little bit, but Yeah, I always think about that relationship with time. No, what I was going to say is, yeah, I think those competing forces are really interesting, like in the moment. So, like, the image of you coming home to find this letter and sort of trying to wrestle with that, but also having, my immediate needs that need to be met. Like, you described, like, it's after play, so I'm hungry and I've got to be fed and all that sort of stuff. So you're dealing with this great revelation, and this upheaval, I suppose, while also dealing with these like ordinary things of
Yeah.
like getting a child out of a car seat and like getting it inside and getting it fed, while then having this person sort of come back and sort of talk over the top of it all. So like,
Yeah.
it's this
It's
weird,
bizarre.
overwhelming chaos of competing, like where, and I mean, this is kind of, maybe this is a uniquely female thing of like where to put my attention, like my husband, my child, my life, like where does the
Yeah.
attention go?
Yeah,
And
sure.
if I spread across those things, I'm spread too thin.
Yeah.
And but if I do spread across those things, I only know a little bit of each one. I only know a little bit of my husband, a little bit of my child, and a little bit of myself. So I think that those things start to creep into this. Like, in much the same way when we started this, I said, I don't want to turn it into a mental health program. I want it to be about family and kind of like social stuff, like life. But it's the same thing of like, I never really wanted this to be about gender and other components there, but it does inevitably, you have to talk about gender as well here, because of the dynamics and the power dynamics, but also like the behaviors are so, I mean, they're so cliched, like a man plotting to leave and then like packing while you're out of the house and leaving. I mean, it's like
Yes.
such a cliched action,
Yeah.
that it's cliche to the point that it's actually comical and it takes the emotion out of it, and yet it's
Yeah.
like one of the most devastating things that can occur. So
Yeah.
it's very,
And
yeah.
and at the same time it's emotional, it's also mechanical. That the letter is mechanical.
Well, I was going to talk to that, like,
And
yeah,
him being there doesn't change that either.
yeah,
He's robotic
yeah,
in front of me.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, there's a few things there. It's like one has always been that thing that you've brought up, which is like, why? Like, why? Like, why is he there? Like, he's set this
I
thing
have
up.
no idea.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Yeah.
packed up. He's left. Like, that's the whole point, to leave the letter and go. But then there's this coming back to explain the letter, and it's like, what are you doing? It's so strange. Like, and it's so strange to be there physically, because it's like you're intensifying the difficulty of the situation. So I have never understood that.
Yeah, because there's been moments when we've judged that as
Malicious.
no, what I was going to say, the way it was all planned out was a cowardly action, because he never really had to face me ever again.
No.
So then you think, the coming back, is it malicious? Is it to see a reaction? It goes against what we later come to believe, how cowardly he is.
Yeah.
It goes against that. He didn't have to walk back into that.
It's very strange.
I've never been able to work that out in my mind.
No, I
what
can't.
happened there.
I can't really reason it either. I mean, like, you could make an assessment of some sort of profound guilt, but that really goes against the grain of the individual. That is, to my knowledge, and I've had dealings with this person over a long time, that feeling does not appear anywhere else. So I don't know how that could explain, because that's not really in his character.
No, yes. So what we mean is he's not coming back to comfort me.
No.
Or this is going to be an enormous shock. You've already done and planned out the shocking things.
In some ways, I think it's the most shocking thing of all. I think that he's so dumb that he thought he needed to explain the letter.
We can laugh about it now. Yeah. It's a mystery to me.
It is a mystery. Yeah,
it's a mystery to me because as we're going along this process, guilt and showing remorse and showing concern are not part of his DNA.
No, they never enter the picture, and in fact,
in regard to you or to me,
as it goes on, and this story gets much worse. The disregard of the most basic sensitivity towards and compassion for how vulnerable people would feel, like a woman who's been left and a small child, like, who are being abused emotionally, psychologically, verbally, and in my case later physically. There is no regard for us, and so guilt. No, I never saw it. I never have to this day seen a shard of remorse. None. Like it's so egregiously absent. Remorse that,
I just I just thought for a moment, was he making sure that I got the letter? Well, the letter was placed in such a place that.
But that's what I mean about. I said it jokingly, but I mean quite sincerely. I think he's like just making sure it's received.
Yes.
In a lot of ways.
Yes. Sure. Yeah.
Like there's such a stupidity to him that he would be like, well, I can't really know it's happened if I don't witness it. Do you know what I mean? So it's sort of like making sure.
Yeah, that still works against a person that's already made up his mind and he's gone, doesn't it? It's weird.
Yeah, but I suppose it's not the weirdest thing if you think about like wanting to see some sort of proof, not in a malicious sense, but in a like, I've set this thing in motion, but tree falls in the forest and you're not there to hear it. Does it make sound? Kind of thing. Like,
sure. I never thought about it like that before.
Neither have I really, to be honest with you. But I don't know. It's the only thing that sort of makes sense to me.
Anyway, none of this can.
But you seem quite drained by talking about it today, and we're 35, 6 years.
Over the years, I've always maintained that I can give you chapter and verse on that day. Because those feelings and that event doesn't leave you.
Yeah. Well, you have got major emotional scarring from this. Like, I mean, you are, to all intents and purposes, I mean, you show signs of PTSD. You are, beyond, you're just not trusting in any way, and you were an anxious person before this occurred to you. But after this, pretty much your ability to trust is, I don't think it's ever been restored, and it's continued to have, this, it's not a woe is me story. I mean, it's just, it's true. Like it fucked you up so much.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it did.
Yeah.
Like there's no
course.
other way to put it.
Yeah.
And you were just, and see, this is the cruelty, and what someone like that will never understand is the blow dealt to you in the manner it was dealt was not a blow to you only. It made you someone that would shape my life in a different way.
Yes.
So after that happened to you, I never got my mother back. Like, you were in a state of permanent shock and worry after that. Now, you were already an anxious person, but the person I got, the person I received in you, was someone who really just couldn't meet my needs.
Yeah, someone who was absolutely flawed.
Yeah. And that's, and everything that the knock-on effect, the domino effect, the ripple effect, whatever you want to call it, of that event on the people and who I was dealing with and being raised by from there on.
Yes.
I was dealing with, now, again, you can talk about, you know, my grandparents were certainly over-involved. That's true. But now they were over-involved and angry and despairing and, you know, like...
Yes, and it you know, their handling of it then became my handling of it, and it certainly wasn't in the best interests of anyone involved, let alone you as a little boy growing up.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Yeah, and I think that is the thing that has, I mean, it's never been understood, it's never registered, it's never even he's never even thought about having a conversation with me once in my life. So there is nothing to get across, but it's like, that's the devastation that you wrought on me, was you hit my mother so hard that she was no longer the person that brought me into the world. Like, she just wasn't that person anymore. And it's like...
And of course I, you know, I chased that conversation down. It would, you know, for a few years there, it was my main purpose in life, to be heard. Just let me be heard and have a conversation. And I got, you know, I allowed that to dominate my life.
Yeah, you're so desperate for, and it dominated my life for a long time too. You're so desperate for this person to just acknowledge.
Acknowledge it. It wasn't even seeking a sorry or a this. Just wow.
Just acknowledge that you hurt me, please.
Yes.
And the thing is, when you're dealing with a narcissist,
yeah,
that is the one thing they will never provide you.
Yeah, that's right.
And
never have.
And never has. 36 years later, I've never received an apology for being left as a child. I've never even received an acknowledgement that occurred. That, and it's very difficult to understand how he thinks of it. I mean, well, it's not. He's a victim of life, and he just has to do what he has to do.
Yes.
And everybody needs to just deal with it. And that's really the logic. But there is still, to this day, and you're talking about somebody who's in their 70s now, cannot acknowledge that they did factually leave their child, and their child was hurt by that. That's it. That's all you have to acknowledge. Right. But that can't ever happen. And if you're if you're somebody who's, and really, I mean, like, this person has forged people that have to say now, like it's funny because we'll get into when I wrote and my dealings with my father later in life, but like, I would not be writing and I would not be doing this project if there was some compassion from my family and from my parent. You know, if my father had it in him to have one conversation with me, and same if he'd ever had it in him to have one conversation with you, that acknowledged those facts. You can acknowledge other facts in it too, but just those as well, that I did leave and it did have an effect on you.
Yeah, and even in that, well, tell your story.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm willing to listen to that.
Yeah, but it was
As
never...
you were, it was just a closed door with all of that.
Yeah, and you know, he closed the door so hard and in such a brutal way that it was over forever. And my looking back is, and this is my upset with the family court and like the narratives that we have in life about, you know, like prolonging these things and putting the label family on it. It's like when my father left me in 1991, it didn't matter how many access visits I had. It didn't matter how many times I saw him. It didn't matter calling him dad. It was over. It ended that day.
Yeah.
And it did end. But then it took another 20 years for it to end. And my irritation has been people projecting a narrative, wanting for there to be father-son. The family court's involvement only prolonged my pain.
Yeah.
Like, I never saw him and wasn't reminded of the fact that he did not love me and had left me. That's all but I was forced to spend time with that.
Yes.
And what would have been better for me emotionally is to have never spent time with that. I have felt such a sense of injustice that I live in a society that would make me sit in my pain weekend after weekend after weekend. It felt always to me like a prison sentence for a crime I did not commit.
Yes, and it's really hard to explain that because it's a system that, again, you get caught up in, and it's a system that's imposed on you.
Yeah. And we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to sort of like just tie off this, I wanted to just kind of press down on, like, the letter that he did write is like, I have read it and it's like, it is just so clinical. It's crazy. I'm referred to as re-tobe. I'll speak to a solicitor. That's it. Not my son. There's not tell him this from me. There's not, it's just, as for the boy, I'll deal with that. My solicitor will speak to you. And he didn't leave a phone number or an address. And so not only were you left, but you were left not knowing. And again, it was a monologue. It wasn't a two-way discourse where you can have an input. He's told you what's what. It's over. But you're also in limbo of like, I have a child. You are his father. How is he going to see you? How do I contact you? But he just...
Yeah, if he falls ill next week or something happens, what do I do?
Doesn't matter. And that's the thing is that...
And he's screaming for data. What comfort do you suggest I give?
Yeah. How are you feeling putting that on record?
I mean, I was going to say I'm blown away like I was on the day. Not at all. Just blown away in my own not seeing things.
Sure. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
And that's easy to say in hindsight. And of course, just still blown away that they could occur like that. As I said, it was so cliched in many ways.
Yeah, yeah. The last thing I want to add on this episode was, speaking of Knausgaard, and I forgot to mention this in the last episode, was I've got a little sheet of paper here, but I was thinking about setting and place, right, in writing, and setting and place are important. And my physical proximity as I grew up from this crime scene, the garage that you drove into that day where the letter was, this all played out on this like little suburban back road, which is just around the corner from where we are. And I would drive, we'd pass it all the time. And I was thinking about like being raised close to this, and it's sort of like, it's such an ordinary place, but this sort of haunted and ordinary suburban drama, like the fact of where our lives play out, it's such an ordinary environment, and yet like the extreme, like the magnitude of the inner horror that you can experience in a fairly unextraordinary setting is always remarkable to me when I think of people and their lives.
Yeah.
But I was also thinking of this, which is what Knausgaard gets to as well, is that thinking of himself as being the place. He is the setting. He is the thing that anchors his books. And, you change over time. We become different things, right? So, and the things change around us. And what does that all mean? I don't know whether I really have a point to this, but I was just thinking about like that very ordinary back street, which is about, 6 or 8 blocks from here. And I remember riding my bike up and down it with my mate who lived 2 houses down, but I always knew that that's where that little exchange occurred. And I could always sort of point to, that's where my father left me, like right here, this is the place my father left me. Yeah. I always...
What can I say? It's a bit like where we are now. We're looking out the window where he would march down the driveway to pick you up.
Yeah.
And you've always impressed that on me. I think I've done a good job of pushing that down, no, that doesn't affect me. But I've come to realise
it does.
That it does.
Well, places hold memories. And places have a history of themselves. I mean, we know that. But for the record, like, we're doing this in this, I keep calling it a studio. It's just a little study in a suburban house. I wanted to do this here. When I came home and I wrote this and wanted to get this project together when it first began and all that, I said, you have to do it here, and you got to shoot it here, because there was a point when we started the podcast where an editor asked me if I wanted to come in and use studio space, like proper recording studio, and I was like, oh no. Immediately I went, no. I considered it for, maybe it wasn't immediate, I considered it for half a second. I was like, oh God, no, that's all wrong. Like, Mum and I can't talk about this stuff in a white studio with all the big plastic white desk and, no. It has to be here, and you have to kind of use the forces of the atmosphere here for this project and sort of harness those forces. And I've always thought about that with fiction writing, with writing projects. And when I wrote my novel, I had to be in certain places And, place is important. And yeah, you are affected. And we have talked for a long time now about how like this has got to be it. This project is it. This book is it. I don't ever want to talk about this shit ever again.
Yeah. No.
And part of what we have also been talking about is selling this house.
Leaving this space. Yes.
Because it's poisoned. And
yeah, and it was only after you came back to live here that I really acknowledged that. And it's been at the core of a lot of my indecision and not finding myself in lots of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can start a new life here. You can't build a life here. Because
there's so much history.
This is something else.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
And it's almost like the soil's not fertile.
It just weighs you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said it weighs you down. Yeah. I said the soil's not fertile. So
I like that.
yeah.
Okay.
Just to clarify that because we spoke at the same time. That's it. Tomorrow there'll be a reading episode. I'll continue reading the travails of this particular event, but the aftermath as well. You can only get that on Substack by subscribing. So thebarrowpod.substack.com. $8 a month or $80 for the annual. And the annual, by the way, is worth signing up to because we have plans and we're gonna announce those plans in a little while. But things will be around in 12 months. So don't feel like I'm gonna buy that and these guys are gonna like quit or something. But we'll be around. And next reading episode, so next week, I'm gonna be reading a piece of my own work. And then after that, probably do like a little catch-up episode. But the next book, just to remind people, is This House of Grief by Helen Garner. All right? Anything you want to add? That was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite sad. All right. See ya. Bye.